Welcome to the fourth episode of the Broad Street Sports Podcast featuring Zachary Chavey and Logan Burns.
What's up, everybody? So today we'll start off with the NBA, then NHL, and then MLB, and we'll finish off with football.
Okay, so the NBA playoffs, they're started, and we've had a lot of great series so far. The Sixers, they're currently up against the Nets in their series 2-0, going to Brooklyn now and having their first game in Brooklyn tomorrow, Thursday, I think it's 7:30 on TNT. And then we have the Boston Celtics and Atlanta Hawks playing. Celtics are they're up 2-0 right now, but they just look dominant. It doesn't even look like fair competition between the two teams.
It's kind of expected. It's like the teams are very different. There's a broad spectrum, and the Celtics are above it or way ahead than the Hawks. I mean, their only good player really is Trae Young, and he's overrated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's expected they'll get swept.
Yeah, but to beat Miami and then to look like this in a series, it's not the best. But it does tell you that the play-in, it's where you have to play your best, but it really doesn't show that much because it's just one game. It's not an entire 7-game series. And another series, to my surprise, are the Sacramento Kings being up 2-0 against the reigning champion Golden State Warriors. I did not expect this at all. I expected the Warriors to take at least one game, but the Kings have looked great right now.
Yeah, I know. They really have. I have the Warriors in the finals with the Bucks, so I'm surprised at this too. I thought the series was going to go for a little bit, but I thought the Warriors were going to take at least one too.
Yeah.
But series not over yet. You never know.
Oh, definitely. And let's get into another point of that series that happened in Game 2 late in the fourth quarter. What are your thoughts on what Draymond Green did to Domantas Sabonis?
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, this is what Draymond Green did. So, when Malik Monk was driving with the ball, he went up for a shot, he missed it, and Sabonis fell to the deck, and he was just trying to grab onto something to see what happened, and he grabbed Draymond's leg, so then Draymond kind of rustled out of it, and then stepped right on Sabonis' stomach, and walked away.
Damn, all right. Well, that's something. I didn't hear about that.
And he was suspended for Game 3 of the
Okay,
series.
that makes sense. Sure that didn't feel good at all. So, it's
Well, what do you expect from Draymond? Because this is the type of player he's always been. He's been like a dirty, aggressive player.
Well, you can't do that in the playoffs because, like I said, now he's suspended for Game 3, and
you can't make stupid. That's gonna win your team. That's gonna lose or win your team possible games.
Yeah, I know. So, you can't really do that. You gotta keep your crap together, and just he grabbed his leg. It's whatever. You can be annoyed about it, but you stumped on a guy's stomach. That's just it's not okay.
That's his decision, and he's going to face the consequences for it.
Yeah.
So let's get into the rest of the series. Some of the games that actually happened last night. The Cavs had a huge bounce-back game after losing that first game very closely to the Knicks.
I know.
They pretty much blew them out. The score may look close. The final score was 107-90.
Yeah.
But the Cavs dominated from the beginning and really never took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
So they tied that series up. Like I said, I have that series going to 7, and I have the Knicks winning. But it should be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. And then in another series, we had the Phoenix Suns and the Clippers. Their series is officially tied up after the Suns had a really good bounce-back game, even though great efforts from Russell Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard last night.
Yep.
What do you see happening in that series?
I believe the Suns are going to take that series. So, both teams have played well, but I feel like the Suns are going to come out on top. And I have them going to a 7-game series too. So. Oh.
And what do you think about do you think for the Clippers, Paul George needs to come back for them to win this series, or do you think that doesn't matter? They're still a good enough team to win it without him.
Oh no, I feel like they could, but I feel like Paul George could help them.
Yeah,
too.
He's a huge asset for them.
Yeah, I feel like without him, they're kind of screwed a little bit, but I don't know.
Definitely. Okay, and let's get in. let's get into the last recap of the playoffs. We have the games that are happening tonight. We have the Lakers Grizzlies. The Lakers are up 1-0 after a great win on Sunday to take the 1-0 series lead. Do you think so? It did come out. John Morant is a game time decision for this game. Do you think this affects them in the win or loss column if he doesn't play? Like, this could be, it's a 50-50 for Grizzlies. Like, do you feel any confidence in them if Ja's not playing? Because, yes, Ja's a great player, but you've seen this year and definitely last year how good their record is without him on the floor.
I don't know. I feel like he is kind of a game decision, so I think if he doesn't play, they lose.
Because the Lakers, they brought this up, if you were to do a draft of this series, 2 Lakers players to go with the first 2 picks because LeBron James and AD healthy and playing good game.
Yeah.
They are unstoppable. But a guy I want to talk about who had a great game on that Sunday was Austin Reeves. How do you feel about him as a player and the confidence he has? As if you saw, they mic'd him up for that game, and when he shot, he was shooting a 3, he made it, and then he shot a jumper and made it, and then the Grizzlies called a timeout, and he said, "I'm him, I'm him." How do you feel about his confidence, and do you think he'll be a big X factor in this series?
Yeah, I believe he'll do. I think he'll do really good I think he'll do really good in the playoffs. And you have to have confidence in whatever you do, because if you go into a game and you're telling yourself, "I'm gonna lose," you're gonna lose.
Yeah, because
you gotta go in thinking, "I'm gonna win this game. I'm gonna do really good, and that's all I can do."
That's what the best players do.
Yeah, you have to have that mindset.
Even when they're in the slump, when they're in a slump, they gotta think, "This is my game, and it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Not all the time, but eventually it will work." And most of the time it does when you believe in yourself. And so yeah, that should be interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
So let's get into another series that has a huge injury factor, not only for one team but for 2 teams, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat, which the Heat take a surprise game 1. Were you surprised by that, or did you think it was a big factor that Giannis wasn't playing?
I think it was a big factor that Giannis wasn't playing, because as soon as he got taken out that game, I thought as soon as he got taken out, I thought the Heat was gonna win. Mostly because I don't know. I feel like Giannis kind of carries the team too,
which he is doubtful for tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't play tonight, they'll probably lose again. But if he's out for the series, I don't know. I think the Bucks are out if he's done playing for the season. Or at least for the series, I don't know.
The kind of injury, I don't expect it to be for the season. But if it's this series, I see Milwaukee maybe taking a game in 2 and losing. Because even though the Heat, they had a horrible injury themselves with Tyler Hero breaking his hand.
Yeah.
They still have playoff Jimmy Butler, who's one of the best players I've ever seen in the playoffs. Yeah. So, and the Giannis is that real stopper for them. Like, who are they going to put on Butler? And then Giannis going out so much hurts their rebounding ability, because even though they still have Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis, guys like Bam Adebayo, who's very versatile, can get in there and get those rebounds and get it back out to the guys for buckets.
Yeah.
And then a series that, after the first game, I kind of know what the series is going to be, which is between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. What I'm talking about is the Nuggets pretty much manhandled the Timberwolves in Game 1. They won 109-80. Pretty much, the Timberwolves just stood no chance against a team that the Nuggets, I would say they're good, but not good for the number 1 seed, because they're in my opinion, the weak West.
Yeah. I mean, I expected the Timberwolves to be destroyed in the series, because I mean, they're in the West and no teams are really standing out, but at the same time, though, you're a bottom seed in the West, so that means you're really bad.
Yeah.
Going up against the top seed in the West, which is still good to an extent, so you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah, definitely. And
Sixers and the Nets, I mean.
Yeah, but the Nuggets, they're going to win a series like this because Jokic, they really, even though they have Gobert and Towns down there, they have nothing compared to what Jokic can do with the ball in his hand, which he's a great passer and a great scorer. But you're going to see the Nuggets are going to go down, because once they get to that second series and play this team like a Phoenix Suns, who's going to stop the ramp? Because, yes, you have Jamal Murray. Yes, you have Michael Porter. Yes, you have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You have those 3 guys, and then you have Aaron Gordon, who's a good defensive player. But that center position, Nikola Jokic,
Yeah.
He has the offensive side of the ball, but that other side is disgraceful. He does not play defense at all, and he cannot. You you think they're really gonna put Jokic on, say, Durant, Paul, or Booker?
Yeah.
And they don't have DeAndre Ayton down there because Durant, Booker, and Paul, they're all great scorers, and then you got Ayton down there to get rebounds and then put points up. So
Yeah.
I think the real Nuggets will be exposed in the second round.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Okay, so that's a quick recap of the NBA playoffs. Not really much because the series are starting to get in. But one more question for you. What team has shown you the most to start the playoffs?
The most? I mean, I don't know. I had to say the Sixers. I mean, granted, they played 2 games so far, and I'm gonna choose Maxey for now. The first game, he didn't really do that good, but Harden did really good.
Mhm.
But then the second game, Harden didn't do that good, and Maxey did really
Yeah,
good.
teams like that, it's just not one player every single night.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs. If you can get different contributions from
Yeah.
each player each night, like one player can ball out one night, then the next player can ball out the next night.
Yeah.
If you get that with a team, then that means it must be a really good team, because if you can have a different guy do something great every single night, then you should probably be a championship contender, which, in my opinion, the Sixers are. It's just that second round that they have to get past, which then I feel people will start giving them the respect they deserve.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely could. I mean, if they keep up this momentum, because, I mean, in the second game, I thought they were going to lose because in that first half, they were atrocious.
Yeah, that was a defensive-filled first half. to
Yeah,
say
that
the least.
was disgusting. But, I mean, the second half, they turned over. So, I mean, Tobias Harris really got that ball rolling.
And then Maxey in that second
Yeah.
half. Very, very nice. And then I'm going to ask you the same question, but switch it up a little bit. What player has shown you the most so
What
far?
player?
Yeah.
You know, honestly, out of these 2 games so far, I'm going to focus on the Sixers. I think Paul Reed.
Paul Reed.
Bro, that guy's nasty.
Yeah, that game one play highlight he had was amazing when he got the ball, put it through Serena's legs, drive past 2 guys and put up the layup. That was amazing to see.
I know he's not going to carry a series. Like,
Yeah.
he's a backup, and the starters are so much better than him. But it's like, if you put him in, I feel confident he's able to keep whatever lead we have, or
Yeah,
he's able
like
to
he
chop away.
can keep everybody together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's versatile. And then Harden, the way he can pass the ball, I can feel confident in Paul Reed to be able to get into spaces where Harden can pass him the ball and get points.
Yeah, I think because he'll probably get put in like every like he'll play like 5 minutes every game a little bit, but he'll have like good moments. So.
Definitely. So that's our quick recap on the NBA playoffs. We're gonna get into some NHL playoffs, which they started yesterday. The Boston Bruins, they played their first game, and they're the best team in the league.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they manhandled them, but they beat the Florida Panthers 3-1 to take a 1-0 series lead. How far do you see the Bruins going?
Honestly, I have the Bruins going all the way. They're too good. Their record.
Going all the way and winning it, or just going all the way?
I think they'll win it.
Okay. Yeah, they're a very good team from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the Bruins, they're the Bruins. So we got the Carolina Hurricanes. They beat the New York Islanders 2-1, which I'm not surprised. The Islanders are a team that barely got in there. Then we had the Minnesota Wild. They beat the Dallas Stars in double overtime.
I know.
You love to see those games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then what a surprise. Los Angeles Kings beat the Edmonton Oilers in overtime, 4-3.
Yeah.
So those were the recap of the games yesterday, or on Monday.
Yeah.
But then there were some games yesterday. We had the New York Rangers pretty much dismantle the New Jersey Devils. What's your thoughts on the Rangers? How far do you see them going?
I don't know.
Because they got the 4 guys right there. They got Patrick Kane, they got Anteri Panarin, they got Mika Zibanejad, and they got Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on hockey because I don't really watch it very much. So when I look at hockey, I look at numbers. And I mean, I guess they could go all the way looking at it at like a numbers perspective. I don't really watch hockey, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really give like a detailed answer.
I kind of know a little bit of hockey, so I'll just give my quick prediction. I see the Rangers getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, But then facing a team like the Bruins, which they match up very well against each other, but I think the Bruins will take the edge by a tiny bit because they're the Bruins, so
Yeah.
they always find a way to prevail. And then let's get to another game, which, my God, the Lightning, not the back-to-back champions 2020 and 2021, they pretty much destroyed the Maple Leafs 7-3.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. They're still a good team, even though they didn't win the championship last year. The Winnipeg Jets defeated the Golden Knights 5-1, which it's two good teams playing against each other.
Yeah.
This is interesting. The Seattle Kraken, the newest expansion team in the league. This is only their second year of being a team. They defeat the reigning Stanley Cup champions, Colorado Avalanche, to take the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. You just gotta go in there thinking, I'm gonna
It's like
win
the
this.
Vegas Golden Knights. Their first year of being a team, they went all the way to the Stanley Cup, but unfortunately lost to the Washington Capitals. But still,
Yeah.
starting a new team like this, you find players that fit well in your team. You're not getting guys who have already been. You're not like being a team. You don't have like a mind. Like you don't have a, I don't know, like a background. Like players don't know much about
Yeah.
what the locker room, what the management's going to be like. So going to a new team like this, you can really not feel uncomfortable about the situation you're in.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's the quick recap of the games that already happened. We got a couple games tonight. We got the New York Islanders and the Carolina Hurricanes. We got the Florida Panthers, the Boston Bruins. We got the Minnesota Wild and Dallas Stars, and we got the Kings and Oilers. Before we end with NHL, one more question for you. What game out of those four do you find the most intriguing?
Honestly, I don't know, because I feel like what we see here is just going to be the same thing. I feel like the Islanders will win their game.
Wow.
That's the only thing I have to say about that.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like I said, I don't have much experience in hockey, so
Yeah.
I can't really give
It's
a
okay.
definite answer.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna get into the MLB. Their season, it's pretty much in swing. We've seen what teams like to play as, and the Rays, they have officially not only lost their first game, but lost their second game, losing to the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Are you surprised it happened this late, or do you view them as a good team?
I view them as a good thing because in baseball, I don't think has anybody ever gone. It just won every game. I don't think that's even possible. You play too many games to go. Was it 162-0?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's very hard, and by now, I think it's okay to lose 2 games because they're 14-2, 15-2, something like that.
I believe so, something like that.
So I mean, that's still a really good record, and they're still above everybody else. Plus, they lost to the Blue Jays, and so that's rivalry. Plus, the Blue Jays are right behind them, so
yeah,
it's not unexpected. But
and then we had the Giants defeat the Marlins. We had the Guardians defeat the Tigers. We had the Cardinals dismantle the Diamondbacks 14-5. We had the Texas Rangers, which they've been a really good surprise team of the year. They beat the Royals 12-3. And then the Phillies split their doubleheader with the White Sox, first winning their game 5-2, and then losing their second game 3-0. But they got the win back today, winning the series against the White Sox 5-2.
Yeah.
Do you think this is just early jitters for the Phils, or do you think this is the team we expect to see the entire year?
I can't say it's the team I expect to see the entire year because we don't have Harper and we don't have Rhys Hoskins. So I mean, those are 2 key players off the roster. So you gotta give them that.
And Ranger Suarez, you can't forget
about him. So it's we don't exactly have our full team.
Yeah.
So you gotta think about that too. And I think when they get, at least when Harper gets back, because Rhys Hoskins probably won't play at all this season.
Maybe in the playoffs if we were to get there.
If we even get there. But I think if Bryce Harper gets back, he'll probably play first for a month.
I don't know if I like that though.
Yes and no. I think he's coming off an injury, and I don't really want him outfield because if he plays for a week and then gets hurt again, then we're kind of screwed. So I think if you let him play first for a little bit, get him back in motion for a month, and then let him get healed up, and then just get back into the motion, get used to everything again, and then put him back outfield, I think he'll do great.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I think they should just put him at DH because I don't want to take any chances with him. Because if he goes down again, then this team is in trouble. Because I don't need him playing first and then pulling his arm, like throwing it to like say let's home or like a relay throw. I don't need him hurting his arm somehow because he just got the Tommy John surgery. So I think you just acclimate him back as the DH because he can hit. Like you saw it, we did it the entire playoffs. He was the National League MVP. He had 6 or 7 home runs in the entire playoffs. Like he can obviously hit it, and until he's 100% to go back out to the outfield, which I don't see happening for a while because maybe he'll be healthy enough, but I think the Phillies won't do that until they completely know that they can trust that he won't get hurt.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but we'll do a quick recap of the games that are happening right now. The Mets are currently defeating the Dodgers 2-1 in the top of the 7th. The next game, this is something. The Pirates are beating the Rockies 12-1 in the bottom of the 7th, who the Phillies are prepared to face tomorrow actually.
Yeah.
And then we have the Cubs and Athletics deadlocked at 2 in the top of the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Mariners defeating the Brewers 2-0 in the bottom of 4th. We have the Padres and the Braves in the middle of the 4th inning. And then that's the games going on right now. And then we got a couple later on tonight. We got the Angels and the Yankees. We got the Orioles and the Nationals. We got the Twins and the Red Sox. And we got the Blue Jays and the Astros.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the games happening right now? And what do you expect on the games happening later?
I mean, right now, I don't know. The Padres and the Rockies, or not the Padres, the Pirates and the Rockies. I'm really surprised at that lead, mostly because I don't know. I don't even know those records. I kind of forgot those teams existed. Oh wow, didn't realize the Pirates were doing that good.
Wow,
I completely forgot both of those teams existed. But I mean, it makes sense to call the Rockies aren't doing that good, and the Pirates are.
Well, the Rockies, whenever have they done good?
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
they're just an interesting franchise to say the least. And the Pirates, they don't have a horrible roster, but I did not expect them to do the way they're doing right now. 11-7.
Yeah.
I think that's like second in a division, which, in my opinion, that's really great for their franchise because they have a lot to build off. They got guys like Brian Hayes. They got Brian Reynolds, who I don't know how longer he's going to be on the team. They brought back a guy like Andrew McCutchen, probably what the Cardinals did with Albert Pujols. They got a bunch of guys over there. They got guys like Connor Joe, G-Man Choi, who they acquired from the Rays.
Yeah.
And then they got some solid pitching. So I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised, but that's really good for them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then the games going on like later on in the day. I don't know. Honestly though, I do think the Red Sox are gonna beat the Twins. That's the only thing I have to say to that. But I do think the Red Sox will beat the Twins, and maybe the Astros beat the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, I could see that.
Yeah.
No, but I see the game I find most intriguing is the Angels and the Yankees because the Angels, they've had a good start to the year. They actually defeated the Yankees last night.
Yeah.
And if the Angels can get another game from the Yankees, that'd be pretty good. So we'll have to see though. But that's the one I find most intriguing because Astros, they're a team well known, but they've been struggling this year. So are the Blue Jays too. Orioles and Nationals. I would just say that's a bad team versus a mid team.
Yeah.
And then the Red Sox and Twins. The Twins are pretty good, but the Red Sox are like always struggling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it should be interesting to see. So that's our quick recap of baseball. Now let's get into our last topic of the day, the NFL, where we have a couple points to talk about. Obviously, first thing we have to talk about is Jalen Hurts signing that huge 5-year, $255 million contract extension with the Eagles. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? And for future, how do you think this affects the other quarterbacks that are hoping to be paid this offseason?
Well, with the amount of money we're paying, I think he's worth it. Personally, I believe he's worth it. I believe he'll take the team back to the Super Bowl at least, because we don't have any competitors in the NFC. If we were in the AFC, it'd be a little bit different.
Yes.
But I believe he deserves that money, and he'll do really good. And I don't know, I feel like it would be worth it in the long run. But I could see why people don't think it's worth it, because like I said, he's had one really good season so far, but he's also only been in the NFL for 3 seasons and only started twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to think about that, too.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree. How do you think this affects Burrow, Herbert, and Lamar? No.
With Justin Herbert and Joe Burrows, I think Joe Burrows, if you give him a really good O-line, he could be right next to Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
I have him right behind Mahomes. I have Mahomes in my quarterback rankings. I have Mahomes, and then I have Burrow.
Yeah, but that's him with a crappy O-line. So it's like, see, look at him. So he has a crappy O-line, and you see what he's already really good with a crappy O-line. Imagine if he had a great O-line.
Definitely.
That's a different player right there.
That's a different story,
Yeah. And with Justin Herbert, I believe he's kind of ignored, I guess, but I feel like that's because he doesn't really have, like, a really good receiver. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he has A.J. Brown. Patrick Mahomes has Jason Kelce. And
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce. And Joe Burrows has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
2 really good receivers. They all have good receivers. Justin Herbert doesn't really have a really good receiver. Not saying that, like, I don't even, what's his face on the Chargers is bad, but I mean,
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah, they're both kind of old. Like, they're veteran.
Yeah.
Like, they're not bad, but it's like they're not fast. Their route running's like, I don't know. They're not very good at it.
Definitely, but hey, what? And then let's just get into it. How do you think this affects Lamar, which his market's already been?
I think he's already asking for way too much that he's worth, and he's probably just going to ask for more. So I don't think because he hasn't raised his price yet, but he probably will. But with the money he's asking for right now, I don't think he's worth it, only because of the fact he gets hurt so much. So it's hard because he didn't even finish like this season healthy. He was hurt in the playoffs, and I believe if he played against the Bengals, they probably could have won, and they almost won, but they fumbled. So
yeah, literally. This is the thing I find most intriguing, that Lamar doesn't have, but all these other quarterbacks have, that are about, with Jalen Hurts, who already got paid, and Burrow and Herbert, who are about to get paid. Lamar doesn't have an agent, so he can't. He's trying to negotiate with maybe a price he shouldn't be paid. Lamar's a good quarterback, but he probably set his market way too high. An agent, if he were to get an agent, they would be able to get him the best contract possible without him. Like, with an agent, you hire them so they can help you make the best possible decisions. Which, if Lamar doesn't get an agent, he's not going to get the contract he wants.
Yeah.
But that's his opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into a quick trade that happened yesterday. We had the Rams get off the Allen Robinson contract already a year after signing it. They trade him to the Pittsburgh Steelers and a 7th-round pick for a 7th-round pick in return. What's your thoughts on the trade?
I think the trade's kind of insignificant. I think the Rams. The Rams. I don't know. I thought the Bills for a second.
No.
But I think the Rams are just trying to get rid of him because he's overpaid. He's not really that good. The Steelers don't really need him.
But hey, it's some veteran experience for those young guys like Pickens and Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
They just needed to get off the contract because the Rams, they're going in a direction. They are going to go back to being very, very bad. You saw it last year, even with injuries.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if they were to trade Stafford at the deadline, get off his cap, and then maybe get cap space in the future, because we're really going to keep an old guy. Because sooner you get a young guy in there to develop, the better. Like, I could see the Rams maybe taking a quarterback if they were really bad next year. But I don't know if they have a first-round pick because they went all in.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though. You got any more points you would like to say?
I mean, not really. I don't know. That trade's, like, insignificant. Like, nothing really changes. I mean,
Wait, didn't you say you wanted to talk about the Niners?
Yeah, I do want to talk about the Niners. Yeah, so I'm assuming you heard Brock Purdy doesn't know if he'll play in 2023, and Trey Lance is
official. Yeah, they told the report came out today that they're shopping Trey Lance.
Yeah,
which would mean Sam Darnold would be their quarterback.
Yep, and I feel really good about that. Only because in the NFC, the Eagles and the Niners, those are like the only two really good teams in the NFC and our only competitor. So if our competitor doesn't have a quarterback, because Sam Darnold ain't that guy, and he's never going to be that guy.
Especially with, it doesn't matter how good that Panthers team is.
Yeah. So I think, so if Sam Darnold is their starting quarterback, we are going back to the Super Bowl. They will probably still get the second seed only because they still have a they still have a really good defense. Their offense is really good, and there's nobody else to really contest that. Maybe the Cowboys, maybe the Vikings, but I doubt it. Maybe the Lions too, but
Lions not really. Do something.
Yeah, it's a lot of maybe. So I believe the Niners will still get the second seed. I don't know. Just want to talk about that.
But hey, the 49ers, they're going to be the 49ers. They're going to talk their talk, but can they back it up with their game? Yeah. We'll have to see. But before we go, I would like to give you, the fans, 2 announcements. So next week, we will be making 2 shows. The first one will just be a regular podcast like this. We will be doing a mock draft special for the draft the next day. And we make sure to tune in next Thursday, April 27th, to watch Broad Street Sports Podcast NFL Draft Live, reacting to the first round, our takes on the picks. So make sure you guys tune into that. Other than that, you guys have a good day. And thank you for watching the video. Peace.
Yeah. See ya.